Introducing the 2 racks a week challenge.
Don't shoot. Which I need some proof. Just watch my videos, man.
Video and then,
2 racks
you
a
were just
week.
showing all your 2500, 2500. I said, okay. All right, that's good with that.
68 hours, so it was $2,075.60.
I work like 70, I don't remember, like 73, 74 hours. I made like 3,400, close to 3,500.
I made $2,001.
62 hours, and I had 2,400.
Introducing the 2 racks a week challenge.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we have another winner of the 2 racks a week challenge, man. Here we have Jamal. Jamal, do a quick introduction. Let them know which market you're driving in and which platform or platforms you drive on.
I'm Jamal Molex. I'm multiple platforms in Sacramento area, Northern Cali.
All right. Shout out, man.
Recently full-time driver.
Okay, she is. Shout out to, Northern California. It's funny that that you are from like Sacramento area, just because for like the past couple weeks and for the past couple weeks I've seen some comments on some of my videos saying that people can't make money, at least in the Bay Area and Northern California. Then bam, look who we have here. Somebody who's actually in Northern California who just made 2 racks a week. And so a quick backstory. How long have you been doing rideshare?
I'm doing rideshare, so I was doing it part-time 2023, 2024. Beginning of this year is my first time doing it full-time. I did it for about 3 months in 2017.
Okay.
But I had an issue with my car. So, and then some people threw up, and then I had an old man who soiled himself in my seat, and then I just decided to quit for about 5 years.
Dang, I never had that happen to me.
Yeah, that was like the throw up and the cleaning fee, and then he came. I was like, all right, you know what? It's a sign to stop.
Okay.
But now I realize I kind of was tripping, because when Lyft had those $500 incentives, I hit 2,000 in a week.
Okay.
With that $500 bonus, and I didn't think to make it a full-time job. Then I was like, I was tripping. I was just so used to doing these little IT contracts I was doing at the time, and I was just in a rush to get back to that. Like that was like stability to me. And now I'm thinking I could have been doing this 5 years ago,
right?
And would have had a nice nest egg saved up, probably no debt. Like I don't know, I was tripping there. Now I gotta go try to get a black Escalade or something so I can make some good money.
All right.
But no, it is what it is.
Nah, fair enough. You mentioned something. Well, a couple things that's interesting, that you made 2 racks a few years ago, and you also mentioned, I guess, your perspective on stability changed. How did you come to that conclusion? Like, what was the catalyst for you to change your mindset about the notion of stability?
Man, it's been a process. So, I was working for these companies that had big names, but I didn't have a degree or a certificate, so they would keep me at a low pay rate. So I got Kaiser, IBM on my resume, but I ain't getting paid like that, and I ain't living that lifestyle. So eventually I got fed up with that, and then I kind of I went to doing delivery jobs, and I got comfortable with that. Well, really, I didn't get comfortable. I had a plan. The plan got thrown off because I had to work full time. I wasn't planning on doing full time. And then I think I just kind of got frustrated and maybe a little depressed about that. Then kind of got stuck just working for like a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as bills go up, you got to find more income.
Yeah.
And then getting fired, right? I mean, after trying to improve my income, thinking I'm with a group of people who are like minded, and we got a good push to get our benefits and everything straight with the company, and then having the company just be like, man, all y'all can leave. Like we
Damn.
don't need none of y'all.
Hmm.
So like you're replaceable, and then it's just been that journey of realizing like, okay, it ain't no stability in that job. It ain't no
Yeah.
stability in the the IT because I don't have the education. And my education, even coming up to that point, I don't have a solid scholarly academic background. Basically, by seventh grade, I was done with school.
Yeah.
So I flunked. I failed that grade, flunked out a couple of. I mean, just stopped going a couple of times just to get my
Hmm.
eventually get my GED. So school ain't really my thing. So to have to go back to school and try to be uh, get these IT certificates or get a degree is kind of going to be a hurdle anyway, um, because I just don't have I don't have a background of completing
Yeah.
the stuff. So um,
I'm gonna
I just
cut you off real
realized,
quick just to add some more clarity, to the story. So, just to confirm, you were working for like a, IT company, and because I remember you was telling me before the interview started that you guys were trying to go union, and they said, "Nah, we not having that," and they just let everybody go.
no, that was a delivery service.
Oh,
doing
okay,
cannabis, but it was
okay,
W-2.
okay,
And it was a good paying job. I mean, we did have to use our own vehicles, but they paid us before when they paid us good in mileage. But right when
yeah,
all the prices went up and everybody was putting the stickers of Joe Biden on the gas stations and all that, they
yeah,
cut our pay by like 20 cents per mile. So that took out like maybe over $600 from our checks every month. So that kind of began the unionizing process so that we have some power so they can't just do stuff like that. And then by the end of that year, once we started that campaign, by the end of the year, January 31st, uh, half the company got let go. They brought back some other people, but they changed the company name and all that. So they act like it's a different entity. We got to do a whole new unionizing process. So like half of us are just out.
yeah.
And it's
Nah.
basically, you got to go improve your skills. So right now I'm
Mm,
looking at renewing my guard card, getting my gun, uh, certificates, everything renewed with that, just as a backup, and then doing like a PC 832 course, which is kind of like specialized security stuff. Even looking at and getting my CDL,
okay.
just backups from whatever I'm doing. If I'm doing Lyft or Uber and I'm trying to do a private car service, if something go wrong with that, I got they always hiring security.
Right.
CDL is always a paying job too. So if I'm gonna do some driving, I'll do some driving with the trucks. You know, if some physical, because I got sleep apnea and I had to do the whole DOT physical. So if something happens there and I can't do that, I got the guard card or something that I can possibly get a decent paying job over $30 an hour. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm looking optimistic. I ain't gonna get down. I'm just gonna keep it pushing. I'm gonna work these hours, try to get this 2,000 every week,
Yeah.
and then I figure if I do 3 weeks or so, like real close to 2,000, I probably can like take a week and then go do like some training
Right.
guard car training, get some other training in. So
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, you should never get down on yourself. Everything is a learning process. Um, one thing about life, and after talking to thousands of people over the years, a lot of people have this. They want that sense of security, with these jobs and these corporations. Then they, soon find out, but there is no sense of security. And I always say, the only time you can really be secure is be secure within yourself, as far as your skill sets and the knowledge that you have, and how you could implement that or transition that knowledge into, earning some money. So, no, the only thing you can trust is yourself. And it seemed like, you at that point now where you're starting to, realize the harsh realities, of the world, which is fine, man. And, the good opportunity is, with this, like driving ride share, is a lot of times you can make more money and have more flexibility, doing this than at the normal jobs, from what I've seen, that most people have who come on to the 2 racks a week challenge, or who transition into doing Uber and Lyft full time. Yeah. So once you, I guess, got to the point where, all right, look, I'm laid off, the jobs, this ain't working for me. What made you end up resulting back, to, Uber and Lyft?
well, what I realized when I first got my guard card, like in 2022, is I'm sending out a bunch of their resumes. I got certified on calibers, 3 different calibers, however that's said. But um, and I got no callbacks. I
Mm-hmm.
got no response to my resume. So I'm like, okay.
Dang.
Then I learned that some of these, well, not in the security, but a lot of companies put out resumes, but they're not even real. They're not even hiring for those jobs. So people are filling out resumes, and they got higher level skills than I do, and they're not getting positions. So I knew, okay, well, I'm already in the gig apps already. I'm on Amazon Flex. I'm on Roadie. I'm on uh, all the delivery stuff, and I can just walk right into Lyft and Uber, turn it on, and get it going.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just the simplest mind frame. I'm sending out resumes, but I really don't got no faith in that market anymore. So Lyft and Uber is uh, is right away. I'm already plugged in. I can just go earn. Whereas even all the stuff I said I was going to do as a backup, only unless I start my own security company, I'm still going to be in the same position as far as being employed. And then for the CDL, I always did have a plan on buying a truck and running my own company. So that takes like maybe 2 months of training. So I got to get my bills together, get them paid up for a couple of months, then I go do that training.
Yeah.
And so doing the 2 racks a week, I could get all my, I mean, if I'm used to getting 2,200 a check every 2 weeks, if I'm getting that every week, eventually I'm gonna get ahead, so I can go, pay for that training and take it and move on to maybe stacking 20,000, buying a truck and starting a little company or something. So
Yeah, no, fair enough. And that's a solid plan. Do me a favor real quick, and if you don't mind muting your phone. And that's one of the benefits of it, is because a lot of people, they'll say, or they'll see the videos and be like, well, they had to work 60, 70, 80 plus hours to make, 2,000. And but you have to look beyond the amount of hours worked. You work in this much, one, so you could get caught up on your bills. Two, so you could uh, d- create enough liquid cash that you can invest into the next opportunity. Because
right,
how many jobs that you could have, right, that you could get right away, where you don't have to have significant skills or education, that you can make $2,000, within the first couple weeks. Like once you get, familiar with the market, I mean, become familiar with being self reliant, you earning like $2,000 pretty quickly, and it's like, okay, now you could everything that you wanted to do, or if you have some type of vision for yourself, now you could get into that opportunity. And that's
Right.
why you really want to, have a goal or have something that you're interested in that you could, leap and lily pad to, because there's no real security or safety with certain most jobs, especially if you don't have education or a high sought after skill set. So you really have to you know be vigilant and be aware enough to understand where you at and be able to get out there and be, all right, look, this where I'm at. I can make 2,000. Let me save up enough money to get a truck or get into CDL or get to another opportunity and use this money to invest in a certification or whatever the case may be. So I'm glad that
Right.
you recognize that. Yep.
Yeah, I'm even looked into content. I'm not a get on camera person. You probably can't even find too many pictures of me on Facebook, but I was, I'm just watch so much YouTube, and I see people talk about, their AdSense and how much money they can make. And I looked at all the top content things. I saw two of them that like fitness. I got a fitness journey I got to get on, and it's like product reviews. I
Hmm.
figured those two I can do, but if I do two channels doing that, and then also maybe like a lot of the channels ain't monetized, but like growing cannabis is also a, a, a popular thing on YouTube too. So,
Okay.
um, and I feel like all this just opened up to me a lot clearer when I'm like, okay, I don't know, it's something about working that job. It's like a whole mindset that it's like everything revolves around it. Like like my sleep patterns, everything. So now I'm like, everything seems open to me now.
Yeah.
There's just opportunities everywhere, and now I gotta put the work in, and that's why I got to get my health together. So I can't have those days where I'm feeling down because my health is bad, or what I'm saying, I got diabetes, so my damn foot will swell up on me sitting in
Yeah.
that car a lot. So it's like I got to get all that together because now I just got all this opportunity, and then if I can keep the dollars coming in, I just got to take advantage of all of it. So it's
Oh,
like
fair.
opportunity everywhere, as opposed
Yeah.
to when you're in that job, you're like, oh, I got my job,
Yep.
I'm doing my thing, get through the week, I'm saying, my paycheck coming here, paying bills, it's just like
Nah,
it's
for
just
sure.
all this like, safe stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you take all that away, it's just like, oh man,
No, for
I
sure.
got
And
more.
you know, once I transition to driving full time, that's when I really, even part time, that's when I really start to notice, other opportunities, because what I this is one of my theories. A lot of times, if you work in a job, you're around just a bunch of negativity. You talking to people who really don't have many goals or ambitious vision for themselves. So you get caught up into that world and you get easily distracted. And if you're not around people that's like actively pursuing something or really trying to level up and do something meaningful in life, you'll just you'll just kind of conform to your environment, what's around you, and that's how most people feel. It's like their whole job, takes up their whole day, and by the time they get home, they just want to relax because they just so physically and mentally drained just from the whole work
Right,
environment. But now, like this, like driving Uber and Lyft gives you a sense of purpose. So, all right, now what do I want to do? It forces you to think because, all right, I don't want to drive, forever. So now what do I want to do? Oh, I thought about doing this. Okay, it costs X amount of dollars. I know I can make 1,500 or 2 racks in a week. Okay, if I do this for X amount of weeks, I can really get into this, and you start to, to see
hmm
the future. So it kind of inspires you and motivates you in a sense. Excuse me, to really set goals and really trying to, get there. So I want you to, talk about pretty much how you had to, readapt your mind from, I guess what's the words I'm looking for? I guess the setbacks or the letdowns, from those previous jobs to transitioning now to more of like an ambitious mindset. Like, all right, I want to get my health together. I want to get into this pursuit. I know I can make 2 racks. Now you seem like you got a little fire up under you. So what exactly did you have to do to get there mentally?
Man, I mean, I don't know. It's just stuff just ain't going right. I mean, to
Right.
speak to speak on the distracted part. So I went to this program in San Francisco called Year Up on down on 210 Spear Street, and
Okay. Hmm.
it's a professional development. Wear suits and ties. It teaches about cocktail dining, how to operate in the professional world,
Hmm.
and they get us an internship with a lot of these big corporations. And what I realized that, what I just got into like a friend group that was social, but we didn't we weren't constructive on continuing um that growth in our professionals. So the some of us just went off and did was just working,
Yeah.
but some of us worked in that area. So it was like when we were together, we kind of socialized, but we didn't socialize to be constructive in that area that we came together
Yeah.
when we joined this institution. So I realized that after a couple of years, I was like, damn, what do you know? Okay, we made some friends, we had some moments, but that's cool. But we were there to be, you know, big time professionals.
Hmm.
And I go on LinkedIn, I see this person. Oh, they how did they get it accomplished? Oh, they went to the military, then they came back around. That's how they got all these sort of certifications. Some people was connected, they jumped right in, and they've been working in the field, building up themselves, and now they're moving around the world. And I'm just seeing how different groups of people that I didn't rock with, they just moving, and they work their plans differently, and then they became whatever they are, whether they're successful or not. And then I'm just looking at myself and like, oh man, like my homeboy died. You know what I'm saying? I'm falling out I'm not cool with any of the other people. So it's like, okay, things just is not turning into anything. It's just spinning wheels. I'm just wind up being in just a working job. Maybe even call it a dead end based on where I was at. And so just trying things. I tried to start a company with my uncle doing a t-shirt printing. I tried to do a private car service when started a website and handing out cards every day to the Uber riders and stuff. Getting no response. I tried, what I'm saying, doing everything, doing my own cannabis delivery. I've been trying and nothing has been working. And then I just I just realized, okay, maybe I ain't put enough effort into each one because I was trying to work this job and I looked at it as like something. If I put a little time into it, maybe something happened. It never happened. So I got down on it. But now it's like, okay, if I make enough money, then I can buy my time to focus into whatever my next thing is going to be,
Hmm.
as opposed to making money to get to the check to check. That ain't gonna work. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I
Yeah.
got to get ahead of the game, and so not being like a hustler in the streets, I never had like my cash stacked up in shoe boxes. So you feel me? So
Yeah.
I always just had these jobs. So I was like, okay, well, at least this thing now can help me get there by getting me ahead of the game. Uh, Even if I'm just buying a week of my own to do what I need to do. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So work, 24 days straight. and that pays for the last 7 that I go do whatever I need to do. So that's just
No,
how I looked at it.
that's smart. And one thing I commend you on for two things. Number one is the awareness, because a lot of people are just existing. They're not paying attention. They don't have enough perspective to really understand what's going on, and I guess where they see themselves in the future and where they are now. And secondly, being willing to take risks and try things, even though they didn't work, or maybe you could go back to them and make them work. But the fact that you attempted it, like you tried it, and a lot of people can't, they would never be able to do that in the first place because they're fearful. Like they just lock up and they get scared and they worried about other people's opinions. And honestly, you could try 100 different things or 10,000 different things. If you get one thing that stick, and you could be successful off that, that's all you really need. So I commend you for that. And that's what's about. Definitely recognizing where you at and creating some type of plan and going after it. And it's like, okay, now you have the opportunity to, like I keep saying, make 2 racks a week. And but all right, let me just work for 24 days. I can save up enough cash. So if I want to take, 5, 7, or however many days off that I need to really focus on, one particular thing, that's what I'm going to do, so I could, level up, so I don't have to, depend on Uber and Lyft. But before we even get to like the numbers, how did you find out about the 2 racks a week challenge and my content?
Going on YouTube. So what? Excuse me. So when I tried in 2017, I didn't know about the taxes, so I wound up having to pay taxes on it. So when I was going on 2023, I was like, okay, let me go on YouTube and learn how to get everything right. It used to be a guy called YouTube, uh, the rideshare driver or something, light skinned black dude, was talking about building your website, putting your code on there,
Oh
getting
yeah, I
people
think I know what you're talking
to do
about.
that. And so I was listening to what he was saying, and I was just researching all the videos, and I think yours popped up in the algorithm a little bit after that, and that's how I heard about it. And
Okay.
then the 2 racks, it didn't even click to me that I did that before when I did it in 2017. So, but when I was driving at that point, it was like kind of like I don't know if I can do that
Right.
because there's no more $500 bonuses from Lyft, and you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They don't no surge areas anywhere, so I'm like, I don't know. But then I took like it was eating on my mind for 2 years, and I was like, I'm gonna take 2 weeks off, and I think it was the week of the 4th of July, and I just took it off from my other job, and I was driving Lyft, and I think I did like 1,800 that week, and it was like
Mm.
on 6 days. And I was like, oh shit, maybe I could do it. So once this layoff happened, I said, all right, I'm shooting for 2,000 every week. See
Mm.
if I can do it. And so that's kind of how I learned about it. It just popped up in the algorithm. I was searching all YouTube Lyft content to get the little play octopus. I was looking for advertisement. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about wrapping my car, putting the thing on top. So I was looking at all the money I can make off of it if I did it, seeing if it was feasible to do a full time, see if it was feasible to do black car. Like I recently just got a quote for a black car service. They want like $2,000 for the month, just for the black car insurance, the
Mm.
commercial insurance. And I'm like, I got to do like 3 grand, man, like, you know, 36, something like that for the week, which might be feasible if I go down to the Bay Area. But I heard Tahoe is real popular too, and they
Mm.
they got a lot of paper up there. So I was
Okay.
looking into that. Like,
Yeah. So let's I'm about to share my screen so we could take a look at some of your earnings. Oops, I went to secondary camera. so let's get this out of here.
Excuse me.
All right, so this is from January 13th through January 19th or 20th. So, well, first, congratulations because you're the first person to hit it in 2025. So I'm glad that you actually did it in January. So, because some people
So,
probably would be like, oh, well, that's from last year. But look, ladies and gentlemen, this is from this year, January 2025. So we got $1,201. Online 65 hours and 7 minutes. So I know y'all probably that's only 1,200. Don't worry. Here's the extra $990.74. 62 hours, 72 trips. So basically, I assume that you just run both apps at once,
yep,
right? Yep.
yep.
Just based on looking at the hours. Okay, so yeah, talk about like your get into a little bit like of your strategy. Once you made the decision to make two racks, what times do you wake up and like how do you attack your day?
Yeah. So what I learned from the experiment that I did last summer is that it don't matter when I start. Long as I put in that time, I'm gonna hit that my $300 mark
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's 286 or something like that to get to
Yep,
two racks. But
286. Yep.
I just said 300 or 350 because the amount of gas I'm gonna run through in a day. So
Okay.
that was my goal, and I was doing about 210 on average that week. And so yeah, no matter when I leave, because there's people moving out throughout the whole night.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I like to start about 6 p.m., go to
Okay.
6 a.m. But sometimes I might do 7, might do 8, I might do 9, might even do 11. And just, so even if, oh man, I slept or I had to go do something or I wasn't feeling like it, but then I always feel like long as I just go start, I just go until that same time the next day and I'm gonna hit my number. And
Yeah.
normally I do it. So Um, yeah, people start going to their warehouse jobs around 4 a.m. The airports start popping around that time. So even if it's slow between, 2 2 a.m. to 3 or 1 to 3, it'll pick back up and then I'll make that money uh running people to the airport.
Yeah.
And because they start paying better around that time, I might do a bunch of sevens and eights, in between 1 and 4, but it's gonna pick up, and I start getting some good paying ones right before I finish up my shift.
Absolutely. And you're right. You can start at any time, ladies and gentlemen. I always say start early because I think for most people it would probably be like the easiest way to attack this. Because one, you have to learn like the disciplines. I mean, if you used to work a night shift, then night shift probably would be more beneficial to you if you have like an Amazon or warehouse job and you're already going in at night. But honestly, you can start at any time as long as you put that the amount of hours in and remain consistent. So that's first and foremost. So you said that you were trying to make about 200 some dollars a day. All right, let's go to the next. Hold on. So I put that.
Yep, yep,
All right,
yeah,
so
200.
bam. Yep. So close to 200 something, a little bit more because if you had 200 and 200, that's about 400. Like on Friday. So 275.
Well, yeah, you know how it since I'm going over, so I'm starting in one day and I'm finishing up in the next day.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
the numbers go a little crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm using the solo app, and a lot of time they mess up the numbers because I'm finishing up in the next day on my shift, so it's not always calculated right. But
All right.
That's basically how I go, and I just run both apps.
Mhm.
Lyft is probably the busier app, but normally it'll
6 rides.
it won't give me the best per mile.
Yeah.
Um, but um, but this week it's actually been better than Uber.
I was just
Normally
laughing
Uber
at the rides rejected 89. He's like, nope, 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 nope.
oh yeah, that's how it is. And
Yeah.
I get in a little bit of trouble because I get a little greedy out there sometimes because I'll be on a ride, finishing up a ride, and I accept the ride on the other one.
On the other app, fuck
Yeah,
it. I mean, the
and
worst they could do is just cancel the ride.
like they'd be like, "Oh, you taking the
Are you
detour?"
yeah? Are you detouring? Is everything okay? Are you coming?
Yeah, and
Right,
then sometimes I wind up having to cancel it because I'm looking at it real quick while I'm driving,
right.
so I can't really analyze it really well.
Yeah, so
And
you just
I
accept
might
it.
have to turn this way, and it's going that way, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, I gotta cancel that, and then that'll bring down your like on Lyft, it'll bring down your whatever your rating is,
Accept.
where you get the
Yeah.
gas, you get like 20 cents on gas if you
Right. Right.
platinum or whatever. So
That
that's the
is
only thing
funny.
that's been affecting me lately.
That's funny. But
But
yeah, man, that's the 2 racks, man, and um, talk about I guess the mindset that you have to make 2 racks because one thing I noticed is like in January, like from like the previous years, January is normally like a slower period just because it's after the holidays.
mhm.
There's not a lot going on, especially depending on what city you live in. If you're not in a city that has like a lot of tourism or like business, like convention centers and conferences, it could be a little bit slower for like the first couple months. Like, how are you able to run 2 apps at once, still hit 2 racks, and hit your goal?
um, man, I think you just got to be present. I mean, the rides are out there,
Yeah,
and I don't decline a lot of riders when they get to the car or give them a lot of bad ratings and stuff like that. Unless it's something serious or they piss me off or something like that. And so I
right.
think I'm like available to more riders because I haven't said, "Oh no, don't match me with this person, don't match me with that person." Every now and then I'll get matched with somebody I've given a ride to before. So
Hmm.
um yeah, I just try to be available. I feel like working that time, a lot of riders is going home to their families. They're scared to be out in the night.
Yeah,
You know, places we pulling up, you sitting out there waiting. You know, but I feel like if this is an area like if it was real crazy and I was always pulling up to turfs that was had a lot of people out there, I might feel differently about it. But I don't see that. I don't really see nobody out like that. So um, I ain't really scared to pull up in a lot of these places, and I feel like I eat because there's not a lot of people out there. Like I was out yesterday. I did okay. And it was a Friday, and it was more popular. It was more popping than last Friday when I did these numbers. Last Friday it was smog and everything. People weren't even all at the bars like that. This Friday, people everywhere. I didn't do as good because I know there's more drivers out there.
yeah.
Better weather. They know it's
Right, right.
popping more events. Monster Jam. I didn't get one customer from Monster Jam. Uh, the Warriors game, I think I might have got Warriors versus the Kings. I got one customer. So when there's more drivers out, sometimes you got to get your money in the outskirts. You got to be in Elk Grove, got to be in Roseville, Carmichael, Citrus Heights, and then you get your money out in the perimeter.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Hmm.
and so I think just I used to I was trying to be more aggressive and stay in the popular zone without setting those filters, because I don't
Mhm.
like to use the filters because it seems like when I turn the filter on, I'll just stop getting rides. So I would I would dead head back to the areas, uh, and um and I would kind of lose mileage. Like I try to stay at least $1 a mile or ahead,
Mhm.
but then I'm driving 10, 20 miles back to an area where it's a little more popular. And I just kind of learned to just stop doing that. Wait in the parking lot somewhere. You know, decline a couple of rides. That's terrible. And then get a good one. Okay, now it's time to go.
Right.
So that keeps my gas from running out, because if I run through $350 in gas in a week and then I made 2,200, it's like, okay, yeah, well, I mean, minus the gas, I'm less than 2 racks. So um, I think that's how most of um it was made that way. Just staying in the area where it was popular, and working those times when nobody else is out there.
Yeah. So no, I agree with that. The most important part is one, just being out there in the first place. If you out there, especially if you consistently out there, let's say 60 something plus hours, there's a difference between, yeah, I'm out here, driving, then you look at the earning sheets and like, bro, like you put in like 25 hours, compared to like 60 something. And it takes a lot of dedication and discipline to work that amount of hours. So I know I know for a fact there's times where you're driving, you sitting in the parking lot or sitting in the car, and there's something in your brain that's telling you like, you know what, man, fuck this. Like, let's just go home. Let's just pack it up and call it quits. So what, keeps you out there? Like all these negative traits and thoughts is going on in your head.
I think I think it's because I've done the 12 hours and I've seen what's the difference between cutting it short and working at 12 hours and hitting that number. Okay, so I think it was your video that said the 286 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, some days I'm less than that, but then some days, most of the days, I don't do 12 hours. So hitting that 12 hours and then hitting that number, or getting that 300 or getting that 350, because I'm not in the Bay Area, so those numbers are good numbers up here, you know, um, or even in Tahoe. So hitting 300 or 310 on average, that's a good number. So knowing I got to do the 12 hours to get that, I just say, well, if I ain't at 12, then I ain't leaving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's based on being out there. Okay. I ain't done until at least I hit that. Then, okay, I'm a little behind at the 12, but then it start picking up. So I might go 14,
Hmm.
because right when I was about to go to the house, I mean, I done it a couple of times. I'm like, man, I'm about to go to the house. I get right here,
And you get
outside,
it and you get the ride.
get a good one. Okay, well, since I'm back
Yep.
out there,
Man, that's the worst. That I'm like, damn, why now? Like, why now?
yeah,
I
it was
I
like,
knew
all right, I
exactly
done
what you was
checked
about to
out.
say too. Yeah.
And they was like, send him something. He about to go home, and then
Yeah.
I'll be back out going. And then
Hmm.
I hit my number. And so that's all, that's all I'm worrying about, making that number, because I know if I hit that number at the end of
Yeah.
the week, it's gonna add up to what I want. And
No,
that's
for sure.
just
Yeah.
trying to simplify it.
Hmm. And one thing that I try to do is always keep, your goal in mind. Like if your goal is to make 2 racks or 286 or 300 some dollars a day, make sure you do it. You want to get a habit of, doing it over and over and over again to prove to yourself and getting your confidence up and getting your consistency up. Because that's what honestly what most people struggle with is being consistent, doing this. It's different. I find it interesting how if let's say somebody has a 9 to 5, if they work at 7, 8, or whatever time they have to be in, they're going to be in. They're going to go to work. But when it comes to driving, let's say, all right, I'm gonna go out there, whatever time, 8 a.m. That alarm go off. No, next they out there at 10 a.m. They always slow. It's not going the way they thought it was. Now they psychology is messed up, so they out there 3 hours and they back home at 1 p.m. and that's the day. So what ends up happening, a lot of people end up wasting time. So that's why I always say get out there early because it'll help you from a psychological aspect. You out there early, put 6 hours in, and it's still early. It's before noon, so you more likely to continue that momentum. But negativity gonna happen. You gonna want to quit, but you just got to override that and continue to get your goal. And I commend you for that.
Yeah, see, I don't like the traffic, and I like the speed in between riders and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
so I like to be on the street where it's just me out there.
No, I
Cops
feel
ain't
it.
worried about nothing. So that's how I like to do it. Yeah, so working that day, I think I did a couple of. Initially, my schedule was gonna start at 12 because that's when I used to do my delivery job. But yeah, I was like, I was getting road rage, and what I'm saying
Yeah.
it's different because I'm like, I'm going to get somebody, whereas I got the package and I'm going to deliver it, so I'm just driving. But I gotta go get somebody, then take them somewhere. I get a little anxiety to go get them. So sitting in traffic, I'm like, trying to get somewhere, get out
Yeah,
the way,
yeah.
as opposed to just going to deliver something. It's like, okay, well, I'm just, I ain't worried about nothing.
Nah,
So
nah, I feel
it's
that.
just a little bit different way I look at it when I'm going to pick somebody up as opposed to delivering packages.
No, for sure. Few more questions, man. Even though you went through a lot of stuff and setback, man, I still like the optimism. It's like you didn't give up, or because I talk to like a lot of people who have like behind the scenes, and it's like as soon as they talk, it's like, damn, man, you just sound so defeated, and just got like a loser mentality, a loser mindset.
Mhm.
How would you? I mean, how were you able just to remain positive and just see, light at the end of the tunnel? Because this is where a lot of people like struggle with. That's why they can never, get like move forward. It's because like they stuck in that negativity of bad things that happen.
Right. I think it's like consciously and then subconscious. Subconsciously, I might cling to bad habits or procrastinate or something. But if I'm conscious of it, I never try to go with a coping mechanism or with some crutch or something. If I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking clearly, I'm never going to take the the other route. I'm always going to try to do better and do best. But then sometimes we making decisions and it's like that subconscious, and then you fall into your bad eating habits and your coping
Hmm.
or the emotions and then emotional eating and all that. That be happening subconsciously. I never think of that stuff
Yeah.
and be like, oh, I want to tear myself down or I want to hurt myself. I want to limit myself. I don't think like that.
Right.
But then the subconscious be doing that, and then you find yourself in this little battle where you trying to maintain a better balance.
Hmm.
And so I never think, because when I go to the doctor, they ask me about my health and they ask me if I ever thought of harming myself or all this.
Damn.
So I feel anxiety, I feel all this stuff, but I don't think like that. I don't process the world that way. Like,
Right.
so it's just far fetched to me to go that far, you know.
All right. That's it. Have you ever thought about
Yeah.
harming yourself? Like, damn.
It's
Like
like,
I feel offended.
yeah, it's like it's crazy. I don't, I get down, but I don't never go to that space because
Right.
I, some of it I just don't feel it's all me.
Hmm.
If I felt every decision I made destroyed my life, then maybe I'll feel like okay, it's me. But I feel like I came into a world that was wild.
Hmm.
My parents came into a world that was wild, and we just we definitely can do better, but we doing what we can in the best ways that we can. Um, those of us who make decisions intentionally, consciously, and want to be constructive. If you conscious and you make a decision that just is selfish and is gonna, you just trying to cope.
Hmm.
I feel real hurt in this area, so I'm gonna get blazed up on something that chemical made in the bathtub somewhere.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not doing that.
Right.
Or whatever your thing is. You know what I'm saying? It's like people cope with things in like destructive ways, and it becomes normal. Uh, and I just try not to go into those places. You know what I'm saying? Because like the E40 songs, say everybody got a drug user in their family. In these hard times and poverty and all that, you're gonna probably have more than one.
Yeah.
And how did they get there? You know what I'm saying? I yeah. Uh,
Nah, man,
I
that's
was gonna I
definitely
was gonna
right.
speak on my brother because he was young when he tried those hard drugs and stuff, and he died young,
Damn.
and I just couldn't understand it. I was like, 1996. How did you? You was 16. How did you think to want to be on that?
Hmm.
Like it just never made sense to me. But I wasn't around. I was around, but I don't know how he saw the world and what he been through at that point. You know what I'm saying? And then how did he cope with what he was been through? How did he learn to cope with what he's going through? So him processing the world the way he did is how he got, the way he was. But he was a big, like many people who are on drugs. There, life of the party, got a bunch of friends, know everybody, but then somehow they don't they don't see the detrimental things that's going on, or that's just their way of getting through what they think is worse, or something that happened to them that was worse. So I try to look at whatever happened to me that I didn't intentionally do or subconsciously do that really messed my life up, which I might be looking at diabetes as that way, right?
Hmm.
I kind of did that to me by getting out of shape, being overweight, not getting my life right, not eating right. But I'm not gonna like like go do something that's
Yeah.
worse. You know what I'm saying, to cope
Right.
with it.
Yeah.
So I think that keeps me from getting off into spaces in my mind and all that where it might be dark, and then I'm just getting comfortable over there, or or escaping that area through different means where I'm comfortable in a fantasy land or something.
Yeah.
So I try to
No,
stay
that's
grounded so that whichever way it go, I don't sway too far.
no, that's a good point. It's because oftentimes that's not really discussed how people are processing life and their decisions that they're making, and a lot of people they result to some form of a coping mechanism.
Mhm,
Drugs, alcohol, excessive TV,
mhm,
stuff like that. But that's why you got to stay focused and take action, because when you're in the process of building and doing something, it would definitely make you feel better and give you more
mhm,
optimistic, view and future of life, because it's always something that can be done, and you can always progress and move forward as long as you on Earth, and if you trying. I mean, the day you gonna have another day, so just try to
mhm.
maximize it. But
Yeah,
a
I
couple
think a
more.
lot of people who did like athletics and stuff, they normally get it right, you know, unless something happens. Like because I think those wins or that experience of uh, teamwork, or I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But like I feel like a lot of people who like do athletics or do sports or do organized stuff, they normally they have that drive in life.
Yeah, you know, I
You know,
play sports, so I know exactly what you mean. It's the longer you play, it's like you just maintain that discipline and that structure and that competitive, you know, nature. You know, it's like you want to do your best. It's like
mm-hmm.
you care, and like that's
See,
an
I didn't play, so
yeah, especially if you play like as a child all the way through adulthood. That's all you really know is just competing and
mm-hmm.
leaving it all like on the field. So that just become part of your personality after a while.
Mm-hmm. Turning to Groggins and stuff.
Right.
That dude crazy.
Yeah. Couple more. You know, why do you think this challenge is so important, and how does it, you know, help you as a person?
It's important. It was. It's important because the financial part of it, and then what I compare it to is like I watched. I remember I tried to hustle, and they was like, okay, well, what I'm saying, when you're doing it right, you should make at least $1,000 out here. And I'm like, oh, I can't see that. It ain't moving like that. But you know what I'm saying? I didn't know what I didn't know. But $1,000 seemed like what? Oh, that's crazy. That's a lot. Maybe back in the day. But now I'm looking at $2,000 like that same process. Like, okay, I never looked at what I needed to earn per day. I never looked at the job more. I looked at, oh, that's what you get per hour. Oh, and that's what it added to. I looked at it like I had nothing to do with all that. All I had to do was earn the hourly rate.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm looking at it like, okay, well, what does it take to survive? You know what I'm saying? What does it take to retire early? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, if I want to retire by 55, I need like $7 to $12 million to live the next 30 years if I make it to be that age. So now that's a goal set. That's a number that I believe that I need to try to achieve. And now I got to learn, okay, if I'm only making between 60 and 120, how do I get to 12? You know what I'm saying? How do I flip that number? Is it real estate? Is it investing in one of these cryptos and hit what is going to be the thing? And then how am I going to do it in that next um, what 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
So now the same way you divide up your income per month and you figure out your hourly rate, you got to say, okay, well, what's my big number and how long do I want to take to get to it? And so now those numbers are hitting there. Okay, well, I got a $7 million and I want 20 to 25 years to hit it. How much I got to make, and then what do I got to do to hit that number? And who earns like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, shit, I don't necessarily have the patience of being a nurse or a doctor or
Right.
one of the people who make $200,000. So I got to find other jobs. Okay, what jobs make that money without getting a high level degrees? Well, if you're on a truck, you can make. If you're on a truck and you got a specialty trailer, you can make like 40K a month.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so sure, that's like doctor and high end nurse money. So all right, so if I'm making that, that still ain't gonna get me to my seven by you know 20 years. So I'm still gonna have to figure out something on top of that. So I'm either gonna have to build a fleet, but then okay, well the industry is changing, so it's just looking at all the options and figuring out how you're gonna hit your numbers as it's kind of like sales, I guess. Now, I always been scared of sales because I'm like, I don't want to be in conflict with people because I don't want people talking to me any old type of way, and I don't want to get into that, but I keep getting offers for sales to do insurance, a State Farm. I was like, oh, they just spamming, but why is it popping up? Why am I, I should have been interested, should have invested so I can have those skills, so I can be better at mapping out my numbers and hitting them at this point in my life. But it don't matter. It's never too late. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So instead of saying, oh, at 20, I want to be done by 50 and retire, I'm just going to have to say, well, 55, 60. But
Right.
with a fat payday instead of a social security check, a little 401k.
Yeah.
That's the hustle. Like you want to get those three checks. You get your you get your military, which is probably solid. You get your pension from your civilian work, then you get your social security. So when you retire, you get like 90K for the year to live off on it for the rest of your life. But you know what I'm saying? Maybe you need more than that.
Right.
Especially if you don't got none of that already. Shit, you 30 something, you ain't got no military pension, you ain't got no government job that you got a pension on, and your social security might not be there because they saying the money about to run out.
Right.
So now you got to take all that off the table and figure out how to do it all without it. It's like health and coverage. People fight for the right to marriage and all that stuff. It's like you don't need none of that. All you need to do is tell people where your money gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Because people want, oh, well, I want to be there in the hospital. Well, if I in control of my shit, then I'll tell them allow this person in the hospital when I'm dying, or this
Right.
is where my money go. I don't need to latch on to a system or do this deal with the state and the government to go have for you to have these benefits. If I'm in control of my shit, I'm gonna tell whoever what to do. So you get that kind of Republican conservative values as you start to get a little bit older and realize, okay, I got to do this without any safety nets because all these safety nets or entitlement might be gone when my time comes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I
Yeah.
get to that old age, when Social Security gone, your 401k, they might change the rules on that. So whatever I do, I got to do it independently of all that. I can have all that, put money aside, but I still got to have something else. And that number is going to be a big number. Like I said, I figure it's $7 to $12 million if I want to retire by 55,
Mm.
unless I leave America.
Yeah. No, that is a good point. And some people may look at it as like, damn, he just went on a tangent, but that's that is very important because that's how pretty much I view life. And it all started, with the making, 2 racks is because I made 2 racks. I'm like, damn, okay, now it's like a cheat code. Like, oh shit, now I'm getting closer to make 100K. Then you get used to making 2 racks. Like shit, now how can I make 4 racks or make more money? Then you
Mhm.
start to look for other opportunities and pursue, other goals, and you start to really plan out your life. Like, okay, where do I want to live? How much money do I need for retirement? What type of lifestyle do I want to have? And it gets you really, thinking and creating that vision. So, that's how I just letting you cook. So I'm like, damn, like you 100% right. And that's why
Mhm.
people need to really get serious. So when I say, work 84 hours, one is not forever, but it's to get you to realize one, you have to be comfortable with working. Find something that you want to do. Find something that you can work 84
Mhm.
hours because you really trying to set up your life so you don't have to work on the back end.
Right.
Because if you don't work now, then when you're young and healthy and you have most of your health, how you gonna do it later on when life is the cost of living is more expensive? You're not able to work as many hours. Maybe they get rid of different social programs that could keep you
Mhm.
afloat. You're gonna live a worse life. So
Right.
that's why you gotta really have perspective and be aware of what's really going on out here, and start taking life serious so you could get to the next level. You know, yeah, figure out what you want to do. The most important thing that I discovered is most people they don't know who they are and what they want to do. I think
Mhm.
that's half the battle. And once you figure that out, try certain things. All right, I want to try to get into this. Allocate some money to it. Maybe it's for you. Maybe it's not. And if it's not, bam, move to the next thing. Keep constantly moving until you figure out what exactly works for you and what's the life that you want to live. And don't never give up. Don't try to waste days and waste too much time because you only gonna set yourself back. So
Mhm.
it's not even, it's bigger than just driving, Uber and Lyft and rideshare. It's about really being aware and open up your mind to eventually create the life that you desire. And it seemed like you got a good grasp of that, you know. So
Yeah. Open up your mind without that LSD and stuff, you know. Curtis Mayfield say, check out your mind, and they was
yeah,
on that LSD, and they
yeah,
could
because
create all this creative music. Well, so that didn't work for some, but you
yeah,
know,
because
you
most
gotta
people don't
do
know what they're capable of. It's like, how can you know that you're capable of making $2,000, if not more, if you never push yourself, or if you never even have the desire or the thought to make $2,000?
it. Mhm.
Because not said not at $2,000 or 8,000, 10,000 a month. Let's say, but all right, now I want to make 20,000 a month. Now I want to make 40,000 a month. Like now, what's the next way? The next best way I could do that? And
Yeah,
it's you just keep trying to level up, man. Like never give up. If you think that you can't do it, you think it's too late, then you're right. It's too late. You're not gonna do it. But it's not. As long as you're on earth and as long as you can continue to work and learn, it's never too late. So leave it
yeah,
all out on the field.
and it's like it's back to that 9 to 5 mindset because I'm thinking, you always believe that okay, the way to the higher money is through that education, and you know those salaries are quoted to you as whatever they are. But it's like, what ways can you do it without it? You always believe there's a only illegal and then legal. How do you do it unless you're like some type of salesperson? But then even if you're a salesperson, are you doing good business? You selling cars? Are you doing good business? There's always like a negative connotation towards really being successful without having the education. So
Right.
it's kind of like you got to go this route, and then that's how you open up the big money. And but it's like, no, even Zuckerberg and them didn't even finish college, and they the biggest ones in the game. So it's like they even found a way around just go. Like imagine Zuckerberg went to work for somebody else's company instead of building his company with all the knowledge he had and the network he had.
Right.
You know, it might have took him. We might not have Facebook and all that stuff right now.
Yeah.
It might just be coming out right now with AI technology and everything. Like
No, no, for sure.
it's like really sets you back.
Yeah. I don't really like using Zuckerberg as an example just because he did go to Harvard, but
Right,
but
and he
I
went
get
to
I,
like
I get I get your point. The point is ultimately, man, like don't like never stop learning. Learn, like continue your education, continue learning, hire mentors and seek knowledge in the industry that you want to be in and apply it. Just because you read a book or you watch some videos or some courses, it means nothing if you don't apply it. And that's the most important thing. You learn it and actually figure out a way to apply it. And education don't stop. A lot of people, that's the misconception. Once they graduate high school or graduate college, it's like then they stop learning. It shouldn't be that way.
how did you find your mentor?
That's a good question. You seek them. Like if you, let's say you spend time on the internet searching, like let's say if you want to get into like YouTube or digital market, whatever niche you have, it's people out there making content about the exact industry that you want to get in. And especially now they have courses. Now they have some type of ebook or a school, a monthly program that you could pay,
See,
or you
people
just
knock
pay for
those
one on
courses
one.
a lot. People talk down on the courses. People who sell courses a lot.
Oh, fuck them. I mean, people always gonna talk down, but I mean, of course, there's some people who probably make bad courses. Some people make good courses, but I mean, what's your alternative? Just to sit there and complain, oh, well, they got a course, I'm not buying it. All right, fine, don't buy it. Then what's your plan then?
Mhm.
Because and that's the thing. A lot of people they're so cheap and they have like a broken mindset. They expect to get all this information for free or for very cheap. Like, but what they failed to realize, okay, you feel comfortable going to school. So let's say you go to school for a semester, you got to pay 5, 10,000, 20, whatever, depending on what type of school you go to. But you can hire a mentor for maybe 1,000, a couple thousand. You get one on one, or depending on what they're offering, uh, cheaper than school. You could learn something. Like, why not? I mean, are you serious? are you, that's what boils down, in my opinion. It's like, are you really serious about what you say that you want to achieve? And if you're not, then that's fine. You don't have to invest. I mean, it's going to take you a lot longer to get to the level that you're trying to get because you want to be cheap and you don't want to invest. And that's what you're really
Right.
paying for. You're paying for the expertise and you paying to cut down on the time that it may take to get to the next level.
Right. What stage do you think is best to get the mentor? So, say you're getting into your niche or whatever, and you're making a little bit. Say like me right now, right? Say I'm going into 2 racks a week, and I plan on doing 2 racks a week for 44 out of the 52 weeks of this year, and getting whatever I need, out of debt and all, whatever I got, whatever hurdles are ahead of me, trying to get them taken care of. And I'm trying to go into, the next level of driving or whatever, transportation.
Hmm.
Do I, because I feel like the knowledge that the mentor is going to have, most of the ones, especially if they make themselves available to the public, you got to be on a level already. Like you got to have that money ready to invest, not just in that course, but into the next steps they're going to give you. Because I don't feel like people going to mentor you from scratch. They're going to mentor you from a level of you being on, uh, you've put in enough work to get their mentorship. Like you got to earn it through being on the stage already.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a valid point. Honestly, whenever, well, it depends what your particular goal is, because you mentioned a lot, trying to, work 42 out of the 52 weeks or 40 something weeks out of the 52. Let's say it depends what your particular goal is outside of driving Uber and Lyft. I always try to keep that in mind. Like, it's cool to make 2 racks, but eventually, that's not going to be the end game. You want to, keep yourself afloat and use some of that money to get to the next level. And you would know when you're ready. Like, I would try to do that as soon as possible. That way you don't drive, 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 drive. Yeah, you got some money saved, but you drive, 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 drive. And it'll just become like a dog chasing his tail. So when you are ready, you invest that money so you can like learn and get to the next step because you want to, it's about, speed. You want to do this, start doing it as fast as possible. And that's the first step. And it feels good to invest in yourself, because you don't know what you don't know until you actually know it. A
Right.
lot of people, oh, just they it's a scam, but a lot of times it's not a scam. How you think most people who are successful, you think they just got there by themselves? No, they invested and they paying mentors. And a lot of times, like I said, it's probably a couple hundred, couple $1,000, and people too cheap because they don't believe in themselves or they want to try to figure out on themselves. But it's people who paying shit $50,000 for a mastermind, $25,000, $100,000 to be part of a group, just to be around certain individuals and have certain conversations and to develop their network. So it's like you really investing into yourself. So let's say over 10 years, right? Let's say in 10 years you invested 100,000. Let's say 10,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
But you get a 15x or 20x return on that. So you invested 100,000, but you made a couple million. Is that worth the investment?
Right. Yeah.
That's how
I think that's what people do when they go back to certain.
Yeah. But hold on, we could chop it up outside of this because we went on a whole nother tangent. But any last words that you want to leave them with as far as like how to make 2 racks a week and remain positive?
Just stay consistent. Put the hours in, and don't get down on yourself about anything. Stay positive. Stay focused.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I'm gonna conclude with that. Yeah, stay focused. Stay disciplined, and it's 2025, of course. Which way do I want to go with this? Definitely make your 2 racks. If you never made 2 racks, I'll highly recommend making 2 racks a couple times just for your own personal development and mindset. Then eventually, start to really invest that money into yourself, man, because it's going to, for a lot of people who's new, it's probably going to get, addicted. Like, all right, I want to make some money. Yeah, so make your money, but, use some of that money to invest into an industry that you want to get into, because you got to look at it from the end goal. If you couldn't drive Uber and Lyft, what would you do? And that's how you got to, approach the game from a long-term perspective. Like, what would you see yourself doing? Don't get caught up too much into the rideshare game and worrying about, they taking 70%, 80%. Don't worry about that. Get your money and figure out what you want to do in the long term. Because if you had to make $300,000, if that's your goal, or $1 million in a year, you ain't gonna be driving Uber or Lyft. So it don't even matter in the first place. So get your 2 racks. Learn to, go through the personal development phase. Readapting, visioning, levitating. Get your money, set bigger and ambitious goals, and level up. And hopefully, you come on this channel and talk to you soon. But shout out to Jamal, the first person of 2025 coming on the channel who made 2 racks a week. So we're gonna keep this thing going. I'm not sure what number you are, maybe like 105 or something. But other than that, Ronnie Speed over and out, Mr. 2 racks a week. Holla back. Drum roll. Guitar. Violin. Peace.
Ronnie Speed, yeah, Ronnie Speed, 60 hours.